That first meeting was back on February 6th. It was 99-73 VCU in that win. But you and I were talking before the game. Tell me how you explain this. You said that first meeting doesn't mean anything. Why?
Because the second game's always different. Look at Dayton and St. Louis. Dayton was sick. They were injured. They went to St. Louis, lost by 31. Then in Dayton Arena, they win by 15. That's a 46-point turnaround. So I expect this game to be very different from the first.
Our officials tonight, Roger Ayers with Paul Sells and Vladimir Voyard-Tadal. This place is rocking as usual here, and VCU wins the opening tip on offense here first.
Dayton will do a lot of switching, but Tong enables them to be very good at that because it's 7-1. He can guard guards, and right here, he'll double the post as well, fix mismatches for his teammates.
Here's Lewis for three. That is no good. Rebound by Jayon Simon for the Flyers. Also in that first meeting, John, when you talk about the differences between the first set and the second one, Dayton did not have Deshaun Montgomery.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference today. Yeah, Dayton's pressure defense is relentless. Montgomery is one of their elite defenders. Their defense is not the same and wasn't the same without Montgomery.
Jennings trying to go up top for Djokovic. Gathers over Latong, and he scores it.
Great sign for VCU because Djokovic had a pretty severe ankle sprain just 3 nights ago at George Mason. The trainer, Josh Wall, has been working with Djokovic literally day and night. He looked great catching that lob.
Here's Montgomery, and he scores the first bucket for the Flyers tonight.
You will see almost no mid-range shots in this game. Both teams get the ball to the rim or shoot threes.
Back inside for Djokovic, knocked out of his hands. They're going to call the foul on Latong.
I'll tell you, if you saw how bad Djokovic's ankle turn was in that George Mason game and how much pain he was in, it's really borderline miraculous. He came back in the second half of that game and made some big plays, and he's looking mobile here today. Again, shout out to Josh Wall, the VCU trainer.
The other thing it is here tonight, John, inside this arena, is it's hot. I mean, it was 75 degrees outside here in Dayton, Ohio today.
And 13,407, that's a lot of body heat in here as well.
Montgomery got it knocked out of his hands. It'll stay with the Flyers here. We're just underway tonight. This is a big night here on this Friday on ESPN. Coming up right after us, Miami, Ohio, trying to keep their undefeated streak alive. They are at Ohio. That's coming up at 9 o'clock Eastern time right here on ESPN2.
Chasing history, just one of 3 teams this decade to go 30-0.
Three-pointer for Bennett. That's good.
And here comes the pressure.
Javon Bennett, one of the 4 seniors honored before tonight's game for the Flyers. Barry Evans misses on a 3. Fight for the rebound. Dayton ball.
This crowd loves Javon Bennett. He's been here 3 years, and he's been the heart and soul of this program.
How about what Coach Grant has done with this group, John? A team that was struggling a little bit earlier in that February month, in January. They had that loss at LaSalle in Philadelphia, followed up by a loss at St. Joe's. They had that stretch there, and it wasn't good for a little while.
Well, they weren't healthy. I'll tell you, this is a simple stat. I haven't seen this. When Latong, Durkak, and Montgomery play together and score, this team's 16-4. They just weren't healthy back then.
Latong misses on the 3, and it is over to VCU. Yes, so Coach Grant got this group turned around. They had those 4 losses in a row. They beat St. Bonaventure barely here at home on February 3rd. Then that blowout loss to VCU, but since then they've been on a 6-game win streak.
They're a completely different team. Like I said, even when those guys playing, some of them weren't 100%. When those 3 are 100%, 16-4, it's an outstanding team. When those 3 guys are either subpar, don't score, or not available, they're just 5-5. They're pretty average. And here we see again, that's the relentless driving we'll see from both teams.
Brandon Jennings to put it in for VCU.
Zone takes away an easy basket.
Tracy, that's a three, and that one's good. Jadrian Tracy, and VCU now leads at 6-5.
Tracy had 26 and made 6 out of 9 threes last time, and that zone gave him a little bit of a cushion. Good thing about the zone, it takes away an easy basket against whatever out-of-bounds play they have, but you might ease up and lose a good shooter like Tracy.
Montgomery's got it into Latong. Working on Evans, got it.
Latong is one of the biggest reasons Dayton is peaking right now. He was out for 4 games on crutches. His first 3 games back, he didn't score. Since then, he's averaging over 15 points a game. That's the 8th highest total over the last 8 games, or 10 games in the A-10.
VCU breaking the pressure. Ball is knocked away into the hands of Tracy. Pops up another 3. No good. Djokovic had a hand on it, but here's Montgomery. On the break for Jones.
We said these teams want to run. Jones shoots 70% at the rim in transition. Jones and Montgomery are spectacular athletes. If they're going full speed in the open court, you're probably not going to stop them. Dayton is outstanding off of missed shots because of this. They can get it and go and finish.
Djokovic stays with it, and he finishes. It's now 9-8, Flyers by a point.
Latong did a great job not following Djokovic, who shoots and makes more free throws than anyone in the A-10, but the ball bounced right back to him.
Here's Latong, back to Montgomery.
So Dayton's offense is continuous side-to-side handoffs and ball screens till you break down.
Inside Latong, got it stripped away. Barry Emmons has it here for VCU. Over to Jennings, back to Tracy. And Nick Lewis gets a little step into the lane. It's redirected by Montgomery. And Simon gets it out to Bennett.
Coach Grant says it all starts with our defense because they have multiple elite defenders on Dayton. Montgomery and Jones are 2 of them.
Nice feed to Latong on the drive, and he gets the 2.
That side-to-side ball screen motion has a set play within it where they screen up for Latong. You think he's going to move the ball side-to-side, all of a sudden he's cutting off the screen.
Djokovic, it doesn't go, and here comes Montgomery once again. You're already seeing his presence early on. Ball knocked away, and that was Jennings who got in there. Here's Evans. Floating runner, no. Rebound Jennings. Second try is no good also. Right now, VCU.
They want to run, both these teams.
Rams are 3 of 11 from the field here, John. 5 of 7 for the Flyers so far in this first half. 5.5 minutes gone by. Awaiting our first timeout at the next dead ball. 3 VCU players set to check in. Shot clock as Montgomery hoists it up.
Well defended. Contested 3 late in this clock.
Tracy for 3. Quick shot in transition there.
Not a great one because it's off the dribble and a hand in the face.
6 minutes gone by first half. 11-8. Once again, Latong. That's happened twice already. And the Flyers lead it early, 13-8.
And everyone who studies Dayton knows about that up screen, but they run it with such good tempo, it takes you by surprise.
Oh, and back the other way is Djokovic.
What did I say? If you love great athletes who want to run and press, this is the game for you. Djokovic, a 41-inch vertical. You don't see many 6'11" guys who jump like that.
Over to Montgomery. Latong, corner now for Jones. There's that roll again for Latong. Back up Simon, a wide open 3. Well short. Here's Nick Lewis. Jennings. Got it. Brandon Jennings has been awesome this season for them.
Terrific defender, underrated offensively. And this is interesting, the 7-1 Latong playing the point. that takes pressure off Bennett. Bennett's going to play nearly 40 minutes. They don't want him to have to handle all the ball handling, so they'll mix that up a little bit. Used to be Connor, but they'll use anyway.
Another pass that was knocked away, but Dayton gets it back. It's over to Bennett, who tries to go baseline. Nothing there. The shot clock is at 5. Bennett. And saved from going out by Jones. Going to be a shot clock violation. They want to play on here. Djokovic running the break now for VCU. Tracy another 3. That's good. And Jadrian Tracy, and it's an 8-0 run. And all of a sudden, the Rams are now in front by 2. John, we haven't had a timeout yet. We're blowing right through the first media timeout and maybe to the second.
Latong has scored on a couple nice set plays, but other than that, these guys are balling, running, pressuring.
And Latong gets it stripped away by Lewis, and then he's going to be called for the foul, and that is going to be Latong's second personal.
So during Dayton's struggles, when they went 1-5, in those 6 games, their offensive and defensive ratings in terms of points per 100 possession were horrible. They were a team in the 300s. It is a dramatic U-turn in the last 6 games, especially defensively. For example, they went from giving up 118 points per 100 possession to just 100, 300 spot jump. Now, how did it happen? Number one, health. Latong, Durkak, and Montgomery have all been healthy together. Again, they're 16-4 when those guys play and score. The other secret ingredient, Jayon Simon in the starting lineup. They are 6-0 since they inserted, who might arguably be the most physically and mentally tough guy on their team. They got bigger by putting him in the lineup, slid Keontae Jones to the 3, just bigger and tougher, and it's worked. They haven't lost since they've begun starting Jayon Simon.
VCU 15, Dayton 13, and on the drive, and the runner is good for Terrence Hill Jr. coming off the bench, and he had to wait 8 minutes to get into the game here for the first time tonight.
Because there were no dead balls. Hill is the best scorer in the A-10 per minute, over 23 points a game per 40 minutes played. Coming off the bench, he doesn't play all the time, but when he's in, he gets buckets per minute better than anyone in the A-10. It
was a 13-8 Flyers lead, and VCU is on a 9-0 run right now as they try to go inside the Durkak, and he's fouled from behind by Tracy, and it's going to take us to another timeout. We'll be right back.
People know how good it is, but great service. They get you in and out. I'm coming back.
Absolutely.
And a full bar, which is not bad for postgame.
Exactly right.
We can't do that pregame, maybe postgame.
Only postgame. That was Eric there, and Lily Gardner, who was our ESPN colleague, who started working there way back when she was 15 years old when the place opened up. Great suggestion.
Great establishments. They have tremendous teamwork and spirit among all the people there.
What did you have for the pizza? I had the Koji burger pizza and a salad. I'm trying to eat a little healthier.
Healthy. I had the margarita pizza, and the sauce and the crust were perfect.
We will be back for sure. It's been fun this season in the Atlantic 10 cities we've been in here back in Dayton, Ohio for the second time this year, closing out our Friday night showcase here. It's a 9-0 run for VCU. Remember, they are on the bubble right now, according to Joe Lenardi. If they win tonight, that's going to certainly help the cause. As Jennings goes to work again, he's got 11 points to lead all scorers in this game.
Underrated offensive player. Jennings is a stunning athlete. All of his measurables, his vertical jump, 45.
Back the other way, bucket and a foul for the Flyers and Simon.
We promised you great athletes who are going to run and attack. Jayon Simon, you're supposed to stop the ball, but that's a load to try to get in front of.
Let me just correct myself. Jennings got 4 points for VCU right now. In terms of the scoring, they're led by Djokovic, who's got 7. Tracy has 6. Simon here caps off the 3-point play for the Flyers. And we've got a 3-point game here halfway through this first half. Here's Evans. Tyrell Ward trying to spin on Connor. Fadeaway. Got it. VCU is now shooting strong here 9 of 19 from the field after that bucket.
And their bench scoring is kicking in with Hill and Ward. This team scores 34 points a game off the bench. That's best for 7th best in America. This is an ultra deep team.
I talked to Terrence Hill Jr. about that earlier today, John, the leading scorer for VCU, number 6, who comes off the bench. And it gives him a chance to kind of see the game develop, right? A little bit early on. You come in, and you got a little bit of a fresher start, I feel like.
Here's what I love about Hill. He's the best scorer in the league per minute, but he also leads VCU in assists. He's one of the top 10 in the A10 in assist turnovers, which means he's a good decision maker. He's unselfish coming off the bench, and he's unselfish passing to his teammates. And with that unselfishness, he still makes shots at a high rate. This guy is special.
The foul is on Michael Bell for VCU. It's 21-16, Rams by 5. Now they go inside, a foul from Thomas, who throws it down. He didn't even play in the last game for the Flyers, and that's a thunderous dunk for 2.
Athletes, depth, and Dayton's offense is all pick and roll. Very surprised that VCU is broken down on simple pick and roll.
That's going to be an offensive foul on Jennings. He pushed off, and he picks up his first foul of the game.
So the first job on a pick and roll is to stop the ball. The second is to protect the rim. And right there should be a defender right at the front of the rim. You see everyone is late. And Thomas, who didn't play recently, but again, a great athlete, a Villanova transfer. Again, it speaks to the depth on both these teams.
Thomas has played in just 2/3 of the games this season for the Flyers.
Got to stay ready.
They had shortened the rotation a little bit as of late. Now Connor gets it into Thomas, back on top for Bennett. Bennett for 3. Good! And we're tied at 21.
Bennett's an excellent shooter off the dribble, so when he comes off the screen, there better be a defender there.
Right back the other way, missing badly is Hill for 3. It's an 8-2 run now for the Flyers of the last minute 45 and counting. It's back to Bennett. This is it, Thomas. Hurd faking, driving in, is fouled. Nice play there by Bryce Hurd. How about Bennett, though, who's playing in his final home game of the season for the Flyers, the senior?
Shooting off the dribble is difficult. Most shooting percentages drop down to 30% off the dribble. Bennett's an exception. So when he comes off a screen, if there's not a defender there to help on him or hedge on him, he's going to make that over 40% of the time.
Foul was on Tyrell Ward. Tomorrow on ESPN, the ESPN app, we got number 5 Florida and Kentucky at 4 o'clock. The all-time matchup with UNC and Duke at 6:30 from Cameron. Game day is going to be there. That's all coming your way tomorrow. And then we got Auburn and Alabama at night. And the final night game is Texas Tech and BYU.
Talk about rivalries. Kentucky, Florida, Carolina, Duke, the preeminent rivalry. Alabama, Auburn, probably the most mutually disliked rivalry. Right. How much fun.
You believe we're in the final weekend of the regular season? This has been nuts. Here's Evans, and he scores for the Rams. First bucket of the night tonight for Barry Evans, 1 for 3 from the field. VCU's back in front. Durkak takes it himself. Thought he was going to pass it. Instead, he scores it for 2.
So that's normally a handoff. 4 out of 5 times, Durkak hands the ball off and screens for the man on the wing. That 1 out of 5 times slows down, looks like a handoff. He keeps it like a football quarterback. Option play.
Hill passes it right into the hands of Connor. Hurd back to Connor.
It all starts with Dayton's defense because it leads to the fast break, which leads to loud plays, which leads to this place going crazy.
It's a 10-2 run for the Flyers, and Evans changes that and has a wave to the bench, and he's going to be teed up. You've seen that so many times this season, John. That was obvious, and he's going to be called for a technical foul. And we'll have free throws when we come back here. We're tied at 26.
Soul in this program, Connor, incredibly versatile, has played every position. Keontae Jones, an elite defender, and Jordan Durtak, great physicality and toughness. Actually got the last 5 points last weekend against Richmond to finalize the win for the Flyers. Big impact, all four.
Shane Montgomery's at the line with the 2 free throw attempts that he missed here for the technical foul that was called on Barry Evans for taunting after he hit the 3-pointer, so it doesn't end up hurting VCU, if you will. But Paul Sells, the official, just came over to us during the timeout and said players have already been talked to a few times tonight, John, about
He's warned them. He's warned them about trash talking, and it's almost like a parent. There's so many times you could tell them until you finally have to provide some consequences and let them know you're serious.
Although even if they didn't say anything, that was an obvious taunting call anyway, and the right call to call a technical foul. Tied at 26. Flyers possession. Here's Connor. Tries to dump it inside. Thomas gathers and lays it in. How about Malcolm Thomas asserting himself early in tonight's game?
And what he's known for is athleticism. He gets the lob over the defense, then body control to finish on the other side.
How about this stat? The Flyers have won 14 in a row on senior day. Here's a 3, and Nick Lewis, and the Rams going to try to change that here tonight.
Something's got to give. You're right. It's almost impossible. The last 14 people in UD Arena have not won on senior night. Yet VCU has a winning record in this arena at 7-6. And I believe because their home atmosphere is so loud, they're not fazed by the volume.
That's a great point, John. They have sellout crowds at VCU. We did 2 games there on the Friday nights here, and one of which was the blowout win over this Flyers team. I know you said game 1 and game 2 is totally different, but another 13,407 in attendance here at UD Arena.
A lot of teams come in here, they've never heard decibels that loud before. For VCU, again, they're accustomed to it. Plus, they've had very good teams. These, again, are the 2 best teams in the league over the last 13 years.
Durtak kicks it out to the corner, and it's a 3, and it's no good that time by Montgomery, and the Rams run the other way. Lewis, a step back, his foot's on the line, it's a 2, but it's no good anyhow, and Montgomery's got it.
And Thomas with a great switch, he's playing terrifically.
Durkat.
I love Durkat, went with the shot fake. Djokovic didn't go for it because Durkak's a master at the shot fake.
That's out of bounds off of Montgomery. The thing about the record for VCU coming in here and being at 7-6, it's almost like every time you say, well, sold out crowd, Dayton's playing well, tough environment, I don't know. But it's always the case, and they've won 7 times here. So it's got to give a lot of credit to this Rams team over the years for dealing with it game in and game out, because it's always a tough place to play.
Well, they've been incredibly consistent, 26 straight winning seasons, so they're good, and they're used to the big crowds, as we've said.
Tracy, no. Another rebound, Montgomery. For the Flyers, he now has 5 in this game already, and the ball is knocked away by Bell. VCU gets the steal, Bell gets it back, drives the lane, lays it up and in.
We said it in the opening, great athletes who want to run and press. And VCU, I really believe people on the committee, basketball people, know how well Dayton is playing, how tough it is to win here. This quad 1 win for VCU could get them in the tournament.
Foul called here, and I agree with you, John. They've won 12 out of the last 13 games VCU has. The loss during that stretch was to St. Louis, and no shame in that. You and I did that game on a Friday night in St. Louis.
There's almost no mid-range shots in this game. These teams are taught to attack the rim because, number one, what we see here, both these teams are among the nation's best in going to the free throw line. You don't go to the free throw line unless you attack the rim.
Women's Championship Sunday on our ESPN lineup. The game day crew is going to be in Greenville, South Carolina at noon Eastern to get you set for these 3 title games. The ACC Championship matchup is at 1 Eastern, followed by the SEC. We'll finish it up with the Big 12 title on the line as well. It's all coming your way on Sunday. Champ Week gets going here Sunday on ESPN.
So Dayton makes 19.4 free throws a game. VCU slightly better at 19.8. 12.5. VCU, that's the 8th highest in the country. Dayton, 1,400. I'd hate to officiate this game because look at this. Just great athletes going at each other.
It's a nice block inside by Malcolm Thomas. And now here's Bennett. And he lost it off his leg out of bounds. So let me ask you about Thomas for a moment, right? He doesn't play in the last game. Now all of a sudden he's in this game and he's doing a little bit of everything. And you say, hey, what's the deal? Like, what's your thoughts on that? Does this game just lend itself a little bit more to him? Or?
Well, Latong has 2 fouls. I think that's the biggest thing right now. They're sitting him, protecting him, and Thomas is ready, man.
But he had been early, even when Latong had just the 1 foul. But you're right, Latong with 2 and has been sitting for a little bit here. And now it's in the Bell, mismatch. Bennett's on him. Simon down with a help D. Hill drives. Hill is fouled, and free throws coming for him when we come back. Yeah, Zubin's got the printout too. I just printed out Lenardi's, bracketology as well. We'll check in with you guys at the half. And as you said it, Miami, Ohio, playing at Ohio, coming up right after us here tonight. And what about the Redhawks going per perfection in the regular season?
They make a ton of threes. They have 7 players averaging double figures. They average over 90 a game. What that tells me is in the NCAA tournament, they're going to be almost impossible to prepare for in one day between games, or even 2 or 3, because you just don't play against teams that shoot that many threes, go that deep. You don't know who's going to be the leading scorer on any night. Really excited to see Miami of Ohio chase history, but also what they can do moving forward. They remind me a lot of St. Louis. Deep, balanced, fast, and shoot a lot of threes. Those teams tend to advance in the NCAA tournament.
The teams to start 30-0 over the last 35 seasons: Wichita State, Kentucky, Gonzaga, and then this Miami, Ohio team that you'll watch next at 9 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN2. Floating runner is good by Montgomery, and it's 33-31.
That was pretty well defended by VCU, but it's really interesting. Dayton's offense is designed to attack the baseline. Most offenses want to attack the middle. Dayton attacks baseline. Montgomery's really good at it. Montgomery loves to catch and rip baseline because, you see, all the other players are high. They leave that baseline open, and Montgomery's so quick. We saw him last Friday have an unbelievable reverse dunk doing that against GW. Yes. This time, VCU did a pretty good job defensively, made him take a tough 2.
Dayton is shooting 68% from the field in this first half, by the way, 13 of 19, and they're trailing by 2. VCU's hit 4 3-pointers tonight, 4 of 10. They're 48% from three-point range. Hill trying to make it 5, no good. Montgomery, another rebound. He's got 7 in this first half so far.
Is VCU a better offensive team than a defensive team? They do feel they've improved in that regard, helping each other, protecting the rim more. This is a good example of defending a backdoor cut by Tracy. Simply put, you can't lose your man. When he moves, you have to move. Tracy shadowed him on that backdoor.
We were watching a lot of that in shoot-around today, John, with VCU, with guys saying, yeah, I got to get out there on them. I said, but I heard Coach Phil Martelli Jr. saying, yes, but you got to watch it because they're going to go backdoor. And we've seen a few of those so far here tonight.
No, they know exactly what is involved with Dayton's offense. I just like the pace that Dayton's running at the offense with. I mean, in that scouting report, you'll kind of walk through it. The other guys on your team, your managers, are running the offense, but then you get out here and Dayton does it twice as fast, and it's a different world.
Phil Martelli Jr. has been so calm this entire season, I feel like, in terms of coming into a program that has had so much consistency, as you said, right, John? Now he's made it 26 straight years with a winning record and more, 23-7. They haven't had a bad loss this year at all. Their 3 losses in the conference are 2 to St. Louis and then George Mason. I mean, they have done as best as you could really be. I mean, we talked about it, right? They're on the bubble. A loss to New Mexico, who they're kind of battling with, might be the only one that you look at. Other than that, I thought they've had a really, really good season.
Listen, they won 12 out of 13 A-10 games against the 7th best conference in the country out of 32. So they're playing terrific. Can get better defensively. In good shape for the NCAA tournament, especially if they can win at Dayton Arena. Quad 1 winning opportunity.
Barry Evans out to Jennings. 4 seconds to shoot. Djokovic in the corner. Got a wide open three and missed it. Montgomery. Simon gets the offensive rebound. Got it back out the corner.
That's the kind of stuff Simon brings. I call him a winner, a junkyard dog, a tough guy. He brings great extra possession.
Bennett fires up a three. It's in and out. Djokovic the rebound. 4 boards for him tonight.
Well, Simon's doing a great job at 6'6", 230, staying with the guard, Hill.
Djokovic knocked out of his hands. Flyers running. Bennett would have passed to Connor, but he missed the layup. And Jones is there, but there's a foul. That basket does not count. Connor was fouled. And they're going to call the foul on Jennings, his second for VCU.
So this is Dayton leads the A-10 in steals, number 10 in the country in forcing turnovers. Then they get out on the break. And the other thing they're great at is going to the free throw line. Once again, makes the 14th most free throws in the country. Now, here's the sneaky thing. After they make their free throws, if Connor makes this, their defense is elite after made free throws because they get to press, catch their breath. Opponents only score 0.69 points per possession after a made free throw. That's the 8th best defense in America after made free throws. So getting steals, getting fouled, setting up your press, that's Dayton's formula, and we're seeing it right now.
From what you just said there, John, and watching this team all season, it sounds like the recipe for a win against this Flyers team is you've got to get them in the half-court set, right? Because they're not as good as scoring in the half-court as they are in transition, and you can't foul them.
That's right.
They hit the free throws, and then they get back on D, and they get steals.
They shoot 65% in transition. That's 24th highest in the country. In the half-court, their shooting percentage plummets to 41%. So keeping Dayton in the half-court is huge.
Djokovic in the post, double teamed by Connor and Bennett, and he's going to be fouled.
I wouldn't want to be an official. These two teams both average over 25 free throws a game because they got athletic guys who attack. And Djokovic has made and attempted more free throws than anyone in America. And right there you see, Connor needs to just be vertical, stay straight up. The slapping down, that's going to result in a foul a high percentage of the time.
One more for Djokovic. We're tied at 34 tomorrow before the Warriors and Thunder at 8:30 Eastern on ABC. Ernie, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq tip off our coverage at 8 o'clock with Inside the NBA. That's tomorrow on ABC, ESPN app. We'll also be back at 11 p.m. Eastern to break it all down.
I'm Dayton. I hold the ball till about 40 seconds to try to get a 2-for-1 out of this. Don't want to shoot it too quick or way too long because then it's going to end up being a 2-for-2 or 1-for-1.
So here's Montgomery to the corner. Jones taking it in. No, he got blocked inside. Wow, Terrence Hill there. Michael Bell. Barry Evans, who gets it in transition and pops up a three. And VCU has the lead. And Barry Evans today, that's his first three-pointer. He's got 5 points. Second three, actually. He hit that one before, and he was taunting to the bench. He doesn't do anything this time. And so Barry Evans now with 8 points, 2 of 3 from three-point range, and a timeout is called by the Flyers.
Both these teams average 25 free throws a game, so defensively, don't foul. Here's the discipline. What did VCU do there? Straight up, no slapping down, and the good defense leads to the good offense. Again, up-tempo teams, VCU averaging almost 83 a game. That's the highest VCU has scored since 75-76 when I was in 8th grade. So Coach Phil Martelli Jr. has brought a high-octane offense to VCU, And it's much easier to run when you get stops and don't foul.
That is pretty amazing to hear that. The highest scoring team in 50 years, right? This VCU team this season. They lead by 3 right now, 37-34, 22.4 seconds to go. Field goal percentages, as we said, the Flyers shoot very well, 59%. VCU, though, has hit 5 threes, 2 of those by Evans.
And VCU winning the turnover battle, which is huge, because Dayton is one of the best 10th in the country at forcing turnovers. VCU taking care of the ball.
Out of the timeout, 15 seconds to go. It's over to Jones. Bennett off the screen. VCU recovers nicely. Ward's on him. Bennett in some trouble. Backs off the defender. Puts up the jumper. And it's going to go. Bennett knocks it down at the end of the half. It was a long 2. And it's going to be a 1-point lead for VCU here at the half. Here are some of your numbers in the first half. The bench points in favor of the Flyers. And VCU is a team that leads the Atlantic 10 and is top 10 in the nation in points off the bench.
Well, to me, the thing that jumps out is Dayton has made 12 out of 15 two-point shots, 80%. VCU, great job not turning it over, but if they don't start to protect the rim, you know, that could be the thing that does them in a game where they really need a quad 1 win that can get them over that bubble and into the NCAA tournament.
They're 22-2 when leading at the half this season, albeit it's a 1-point lead here on the road in a tough place to play. They're battling with the New Mexico team that right now is that last team in the last 4 in. VCU, the first team on that first 4 out. So if they can win here tonight, going to be huge for their status. They've won 7 times in this arena. They're 7-6. And a steal off the opening possession of the second half. Jennings right to the hole, and he puts it in.
I love watching great athletes in transition. I like watching half-court execution too, but nothing like seeing guys fly up and down and go at each other.
9 turnovers for the Flyers in this game, 3 for the Rams. As the second half is underway, VCU led by as many as 6 in that first half. Dayton has led by as many as 5. Jumper in and out, but tipped up and in by Lazar off the Montgomery miss.
Lazar only played 8 minutes that first half, got his second foul, off to a good start here. He's a difference maker.
Barry Evans gets it to Lewis. Trying to get by Jones. Here's Jennings. Back to Lewis. It's a 3. It's good. Big shot from Nick Lewis, the freshman from the corner.
4-time A-10 Rookie of the Week. It'll be between Eden Arbenbright at University of Richmond and Nick Lewis at VCU. The Rookie of the Year award should stay in the city of Richmond this year, one way or the other.
Big shot right in front of their bench, and teammates were excited about that shot. Here is Bennett for 3, and he responds here on senior night for the Flyers.
Loose balls are not only extra possessions, they're efficient possessions because the defense is scrambled. You could get Bennett's going to have a hard time getting an open 3 with Jennings on him unless it's off of a loose ball. The hustle pays off.
Here's the 3 from Matong. That is no good. Batted around, and it's out to Bennett.
It won't show up. Jayon Simon kept that alive. Again, Dayton undefeated since he's been inserted back into the starting lineup.
Jones takes a hit, gets it back to Latong. There's only 5 to shoot. Montgomery pulls up. And no good. Rebound by Jennings.
Montgomery's taken a couple mid-range shots that's very un-Dayton-like. Usually everything to the rim or 3s for both teams. It's a sign of good defense. Protecting the rim, taking away the 3, forcing him. It's a tough shot.
Djokovic working inside on Latong. Fouled by Latong. John, it's going to be his 3rd. And he picks it up with less than 3 minutes into this second half.
So one of the reasons some coaches double team the post is not just to stop him from scoring, but to prevent the big guy from getting in foul trouble. You know, I thought Latong did a pretty good job on that. Look, he's vertical. but he's out of position right there. He is not in front of Djokovic at the end.
Yeah,
just a little bit off balance to the left.
Yeah, that right arm was a little bit leaning
He wasn't
over.
square.
Yeah.
He wasn't square. He was straight up, but he wasn't in front of him. He was on the side.
All right, so what happens here if VCU is able to win this game tonight? Got to win a couple in the tournament, you would think, the A10 tournament, right, to really secure their spot?
I think so, but tonight should. I mean, a quad one road win, that should get them off the bubble going into the tournament, but then they got to do their work in the tournament as well. But
it's a
today
must
would be a
win.
Huge stuff.
Yep, got to have it, though, here tonight if you're VCU. Latong. Out to Bennett, it's a three for the tie, in and out. Jones, the offensive rebound, counted and a foul.
Sometimes it's not about skill. This nice kick out, now that's a skill, and that shot is almost down. But once it pops out, it's not the skill, it's the will. Keontae Jones, and that rebound's under the rim, and you see him coming from out of his area, from beyond the arc, putting forth the offensive extra effort. Rebound in terms of getting that rebound.
On senior night, Bennett with Durkak, Jones, and Connor, the four honored here before the game tonight for the Flyers. Bennett.
Now, Malcolm Thomas, you mentioned it, Mike. He hasn't played much recently. He was terrific in the first half while Latong was in foul trouble. We'll see if he can uplift Dayton again with Latong on the bench with 3 fouls.
Exactly. Played 6 minutes in the first half. He had 5 points and a rebound. Talking about number 1 in red for the Flyers, and he is guarding Michael Bell right now. Good defense on him as well.
Terrific defense, and he did that in the first half as well.
Here's Nick Lewis. Out to Bell. Back to Lewis. Placed up a 3 as the shot clock was winding down. He kind of rushed it, and Djokovic knocked it off of a Dayton player out of bounds. They say VCU ball. Now they're going to change it and make it Flyers possession. He did have a little extra time there on the shot clock, John, about 3 seconds in it. He thought maybe,
a lot of times the Dayton crowd gives us, the student section gives a false countdown.
Right.
It could have got the best of them on that. And I love the students getting involved in that. Hey, in a close game, every play matters. That student section has had an impact.
Now, Brandon Jennings just picked up his 3rd personal foul for VCU. And he's going to go out.
And what to watch on that is Jennings is the best defender on Bennett. Bennett, we've seen him make tough shots, almost 16 points a game, 5th leading scorer in the A10. Now the freshman Lewis will have to step it up defensively against the senior.
Yeah, that's a good call, John. Here's Thomas, hands off to Keontae Jones. Simon, a good look for 3. No. And recovered by Bell. 44-43, VCU with the advantage here. Led by 1 at the half, same situation right now. 4 minutes gone by in the second half. It goes into Evans.
So this is a boring possession because Dayton's doing such a good job stopping the dribble penetration, forcing a mid-range shot.
Lewis, it doesn't go. Djokovic had it, got it knocked out of his hands. It'll stay with VCU when we come back.
Davidson Elite 8 with Steph Curry, Loyola Final Four, Butler 2 Final Fours. She brought in terrific teams, navigated a college landscape with a lot of turmoil, and kept the A10 one of the best conferences in the country.
Yeah, and has it relevant and people watching. Of course, here as you're seeing it right now tonight on ESPN, NBC, CBS, all covering the Atlantic 10, and has just done a tremendous job. Well respected. Thank you, Bernadette. Wishing you all the best at the end of this year.
Dayton went zone after the timeout that last possession. I like that because that negates whatever play Coach Martelli drew up.
Here's Montgomery, dumps it inside, and there's Malcolm Thomas, and he got blocked, and a whistle and a tie-up. It's a jump, and it's going to be VCU possession.
VCU doing better this half defending the rim. First half, Dayton got 12 for 15, 80% finishing at the rim. This time, Djokovic, 6'11". Again, discipline, straight up, didn't slap down on that. Excellent defensive play.
And that was Djokovic with the block that time for VCU. They lead it by 1 still. 14:40 to play, second half. Now Djokovic going to work on the offensive end. Got it knocked out of his hands and stolen away.
Third time in a row, Malcolm Thomas has won a one-on-one battle.
Now it's Bennett. Montgomery going baseline.
We talked about it in the first half. Dayton's offense is designed to attack the baseline, and Montgomery's terrific at it with his explosiveness.
Michael Bell's got it.
Most defenses want to take away the middle, but look at this steal.
Montgomery. For three, quiets the crowd, and we're tied at 47.
That is a heck of an answer. Most teams, when this place gets loud, gets a little rattled. As I said, tremendous poise by this VCU team throughout this game. They've had an answer every time.
They have. Barry Evans has had an answer. He's 3 for 4 from three-point range with 11 points to lead the Rams in scoring tonight.
I was saying, though, against Dayton, usually you want to keep the ball out of the middle. Against Dayton, you want to force it middle because this is what they want to do. They want to attack that baseline, and they do it successfully again.
Puts in the 2, and it's 49-47.
It's almost like Dayton looked at what defenses do. Most of them keeping the ball in the middle. Well, if you take away the middle, we'll go baseline. Reverse engineering offense, and it works for the Flyers.
Jayon Simon's got 5 points. Here's Djokovic, beats the cutter. It's Bell, and he throws it down over Simon. The plays that we've seen in this game here tonight.
2 NCAA caliber rosters in terms of talent. Dayton's only problem, they had that mid-season swoon with injuries where they went 5-5. Healthy, they're 16-4 coming into this game.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they're 21-9 overall in the season, 12-5 in the Atlantic.
With wins against Florida State, Georgetown, Marquette.
Here's Hill, brings it up now for VCU as we're tied at 49. Flyers have won 6 in a row. VCU's won 12 of the last 13.
VCU with a quad 1 win against Virginia Tech and South Florida, who's in first in the American, and Virginia Tech almost quad 1 now.
Hill knocks down a 3 for the Rams. They've hit some big and timely threes in this game tonight.
First defensive mistake I've seen Malcolm Thomas make, because you can't leave Hill that open. I know he's a big guy. He got caught. He normally doesn't guard guards, but you got to know how dangerous Hill is.
First 3 for him tonight. He's 1 for 4. Evans is 3 for 4. Lewis 2 of 6. And Tracy is 2 of 4. 4 different players have hit a 3 for the Rams tonight. 8 of 19 from the stripe from the outside. Jones crosses over down the lane. Runner's blocked by Djokovic yet again. Here's Bell. Beats Djokovic on the cut. Battles against Simon, and he scores it.
So much good there for VCU. First, Bell, it's 6'8", pushing the ball up the court like a point guard, and then just attacking the rim. Fast break basketball. Djokovic, the finisher.
Timeout, Flyers. It's a 7-0 run for VCU. The 6th seed has won 3 times in the last 12 contested A-10 tournaments. You see it right there. The 2 seed is yet to win. That's what VCU is going to be. They're locked into the 2 seed. And think about this as well. The regular season champion has only won the tournament championship 3 times in the last 10 tournaments. 2 of those have been VCU. It's going to be a great week next week in Pittsburgh.
Oh, A-10 basketball is always awesome. Just look at this game.
2 of the top teams in terms of wins and what they've done in this league over the past decade plus. VCU and Dayton, great way to end this final Friday night here in the A-10. We've got another timeout. We will return to 49. VCU back in Dayton, Ohio. Mike Corey, Dr. John Giannini with you as it's Flyers ball as Durkak looks to get it in.
Jennings all over Bennett right now. Most Dayton out-of-bounds plays are for Bennett.
Durkak misses on the 3. Fight for the rebound. Save from going out, though. And it was Montgomery, and then out off of VCU. When he hit it off of VCU out of bounds.
It'll be good to watch this defensive matchup over here.
So, well, someone stepped on the line, yeah. Didn't quite see the tail end of that, but in any event, Dayton possession here, and here is Montgomery. Djokovic, he does that a lot on those fakes. Gets it back, Montgomery, and he drains it through. (54-52). Rams with the advantage. Here is Jennings. Over Djokovic. He's fouled by Djokovic.
So the officials caught it. He defended with, Djokovic defended with his chest. He had his arms out, but he leaned in. They caught him with the bump moving into the shooter. She's flabbergasted. Just watch. He's going to move into him right there. A little bit of a bump.
Three-point lead for the Rams here. Coming up tomorrow on ESPN, the ESPN app. More than 12 hours of coverage of college basketball. Some outstanding matchups. Florida and Kentucky. Then, of course, UNC and Duke at 6:30. Two more games late night with Auburn and number 16 Alabama, and capped off Texas Tech and BYU at Provo. All coming your way tomorrow on ESPN. Final weekend of the regular season. 56-52. VCU needs this win here tonight for their at-large hopes if they don't win the Atlantic 10 championship next week in Pittsburgh. They're right on the bubble. One of the top teams in the first four out, according to our Joe Lenardi. This win would change that. VCU 8 of 10 at the foul line tonight. Dayton is 6 of 11. VCU has hit 8 threes. Big reason why they've had this advantage here, and a rebound pulled in by Jennings.
Jennings' defense on Bennett is outstanding.
Hill. Oh, up and under, double clutch. How did he get that one to go?
He's the leading scorer in the A-10 per minute played. Over 23 points per 40 minutes. The top scorer off the bench in America, and a good passer. He's an offensive engine / magician.
It's an 11-3 run for VCU, and a foul on Jennings as Bennett drove. This ties their largest lead of the day here today at 6.
Yeah, right there, Hill sees 6'10" Connor on him and knows he can take him with that mismatch. Identifies it right away.
That is the 4th personal foul, John, on Jennings.
That is a gigantic issue. Jennings is absolutely VCU's best matchup for Bennett.
Now, you said earlier it's kind of a hard game to officiate, right, when these two teams get together. I think this crew has done a phenomenal job. We've only had 3 fouls on VCU in the second half and 2 on the Flyers.
Both these teams, tops in the country, both shooting over 25 free throws a game. This is a fascinating stat I just heard. If you every time you shoot 25 free throws or more, your winning percentage is 68%. So going to the line is just so efficient in terms of helping your team win.
That's a great stat. Right now, Dayton has been there 13 times, or 8 of 13, and for VCU, they're 8 of 10. Foul called
on the switch, and the reason why this is an automatic foul. You might get away with 1 hand on a driver, 2 is an automatic foul. Latong normally very good at switching, but watch the 2 hands. Boom, as soon as you put 2 hands on the offensive player, it's automatic.
It's a tough night for Latong. He's got 4 fouls and he's out. He's got 8 points in this game, 2 rebounds, but has played just 13 minutes up to this point. We'll see when Coach Grant wants to bring him back in. Here's Hill. Oh, runner, and
never touched the ball with his left hand.
Right.
Unbelievable skill level by Hill. And you know what's amazing? He's quick, but he's never out of control. I asked him how he does it. He goes, well, I'm actually kind of slow. I never heard of a player speak so honestly and humbly.
That's great. That's one way to not be out of control. Here's Jones. 5 to shoot. Hurd in the corner, has to hoist it up. No, Bell gets the rebound.
Terrific rebound by Bell, because Jones was going for it too. That's 2 elite athletes fighting for a ball. Individual battles matter.
Coming up right after us, Miami, Ohio, trying to stay undefeated in the regular season, going to 31-0 if they can knock off Ohio tonight on the road. It's coming up right after us here on ESPN2 as we get your weekend underway. 7:35 remaining. Rams 7-6 all time here in Dayton, Ohio. Trying to sweep the season series. Help their tournament resume. Durkat, a wide open 3. Offensive rebound, Jones, and he's fouled. And he'll shoot free throws when we return.
In the regular season is in the house today. Phil Martelli Sr. here supporting his son, Philip.
Phil was awesome, and for Phil, he told us earlier tonight some sad news. A dear friend of his, Steve Comley, passed away just hours ago. He was the auctioneer on many of the Coaches versus Cancer events that they've held in Philadelphia over the years that Phil was such a big part of. He told us a story. He'd always come to the St. Joe's games. He would stop and get popcorn and give it to his father, Pops, Bill Martelli's father, who passed away 7 years ago, and just wanted to send his thoughts and prayers and well wishes to the Comley family as Steve Comley passed away today.
Well, I was fortunate to work a lot of those events with Steve Comley. He's a mainstay in the Coaches versus Cancer efforts, and Phil, you know, he broke down emotionally because of what Steve did for others and his dad.
Nice winner by Bennett here for the Flyers, and they are within 4. 6.5 remaining.
They got Keontae Jones on Hill. That's a great matchup there. I guarantee you, they're charging Keontae Jones. You're not switching. Your job is to shut down Hill.
Lewis. Djokovic, checked by Durkat. Beats Bell. 5 to shoot. Bell one-on-one against Simon. 2 seconds, Bell. He scores it. What a play.
Tough shot. This is an excellent Dayton defensive team out there right now, and Bell just made a difficult one.
Bell was a perfect 3 for 3 from the field tonight with 6 points.
And playing excellent defense.
Simon off to Hurd, bounces it back for Simon. Up and under, no, and Bell has it.
Here's the matchup I want to see. Hill against Jones.
There's going to be another foul here. It's on Simon, pushing off on Djokovic.
Yeah, Dayton's last defensive possession was about as good as you could play. Stopping one-on-one drives and right there, walling up, not letting him get too close, and contesting the shot. Bell, part of that bench mob that averages 34 points a game, best in the A10, 7th in the country for VCU. Yeah, super deep athletic team.
He's had incredible minutes tonight, too, at 19, and has been effective. He has not missed from the field. Here's Tracy, 2 seconds again, Djokovic. Off the rim this time, rebound Latong. Latong playing with 4 personal fouls. Brandon Jennings has 4 fouls for VCU, but he's out right now. The ball is up and good by Bennett. Doesn't want to see the Flyers go down. And Bennett's got 17.
Baseline, Dayton wants to drive baseline and has done so repeatedly, not only tonight, but all year. It's part of their offensive design.
Terrence Hill Jr. now goes to Nick Lewis, and he's driving baseline by Bennett. Crowd is up and chanting mightily here for the Flyers, not liking what they've seen. But this one means so much here if you're VCU. Joe Lenardi's got him as the first team out right now, trying to break a Dayton 6-game winning streak. VCU has won 12 of their last 13. Right there on the bubble. Tracy. Spinning out Durkak. Durkak running the break. He's got Bennett. It's a three. Montgomery with the offensive rebound. How about this environment at UD Arena? 62-60. It's a 2-point game. 3:47 remaining. This is the 94th consecutive sellout. 13,407. That's good for 7th best sellout streak in the nation, which began back on December 23rd, 2019. They love the Flyers. They love basketball. That's why they get the first 4 every year as well. And we're coming down to the finish here in the final regular season game for VCU and Dayton. Offensive foul on the Rams.
Djokovic turned into Bennett on this play. Went a little too early. See, it's his turning of the shoulders. If he kept his shoulders squared and just handed the ball off the hill, he'd be okay. But turning into Bennett is literally the definition of a moving screen.
John, you talked about how much VCU has put points up this year. Most in 50 years on average for them. 82.9 a game. They've got only 62 tonight. The Dayton defense has been there. Is it going to be enough to get this win?
Coach Grant said everything we do starts with our defense, and they have excellent defensive talent. Latong at 7'1" is mobile. Montgomery and Jones, super athletic. Durkak, physical. They got guys who could lock you up.
Here is Durkak. No. Rebound pulled in by Barry Evans, and VCU hanging on to a 2-point lead as we come up on 3 minutes remaining. Djokovic has led the way. He's got 12 points. And he adds to it inside for a 64-60 lead now for the Rams.
Latong was there. That was not an easy shot. That was a terrific pass and finish by Djokovic at 6'11", using that 41-inch vertical to go over the 7'1" Latong. Just good players against good players.
Deontay Jones to the corner. Bennett for 3. No. Follow. No, and no foul either. And it's going to be VCU ball as they got the rebound.
Jones on Hill, something to monitor. Good on good. That's another illegal screen.
Yeah,
that should have been called.
You're right, they did not. Instead, Djokovic puts up a 3. It doesn't go. Tapped by Evans into the hands of his teammate Bell. And then Bell throws it in the backcourt. It's a violation. I think Coach Grant was asking the same thing there, John, but Dayton is going to get it back anyhow, down by 4.
So Dayton stops the ball on the pick and roll, and then they protect the rim as well. Latong is there. Djokovic just goes over him. And now, man, it's just a spectacular effort by Jones, a great athlete. You just can't get his follow-up to quite fall. But both teams battling, playing with great passion, aggressiveness, athleticism.
VCU, one of the first 4 out. A win here tonight could help put them back into the conversation.
And you win with defense often. Jennings, here I like this matchup right here. That's great on great. Bennett against Jennings.
2 minutes to go. 8 to shoot on the shot clock. Montgomery over to Latong. Latong almost lost it. Wild Wonder goes up. No, he gets his own rebound.
Not exactly the way that play was drawn up. Latong was off balance, but gets his own miss right there. Fumbles the ball, off balance, but it comes right back to him. A little fortuitous, and we got a dramatic finish being set up.
Yes, we do. Latong battling through 4 personal fouls. He's got 10 points and 4 rebounds to the Flyers. We're down to a minute and a half to go. Jennings, who's also got 4 fouls, 0 and black for the Rams. Here's Hill. driving, step back, good over Montgomery.
Montgomery could not play better defense than that. That was a next level type shot with the fadeaway.
And a timeout by Dayton as Hill now has 13 points.
As a sophomore, Terrence Hill compares very favorably to what Bones Highland did, which is pretty high praise.
All right, let's talk about what we got here. It's Dayton possession, John, coming out of this timeout. They're down by 4 with a minute 18 to go. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no rush for Dayton. Obviously, you want a great shot. Bennett's going to be involved. You know, the thing about Dayton, outside of Montgomery, now the other thing you might look at on here, because he'll be open. He hasn't made a three this game, but they're not going to let Bennett open. Latong could be open pretty easily on a pick and pop, or a drive clearing out space for I like a Montgomery or Jones drive or a Latong pick and pop.
We're just getting this outstanding Friday night started. Miami, Ohio versus Ohio. That's coming up when we're done here in this one. 66-62. Flyers have it, down 4. 1 timeout remaining for them, by the way. 2 for VCU. Flyers get it if we get a jump.
And they're running stuff for Bennett. Jennings just won't let him free.
Bennett's got it. This pass deflected by Lewis into the hands of Montgomery. The shot clock's at 2. He's got to put it up. It's an air ball, and it's rebounded by Jennings. And Jennings coming out of the pack with it. Now he's going to be fouled with 49 seconds to go. And VCU leading by 4.
Jennings' defense on Bennett is beyond sticky. With 4 fouls, look at him fight over this screen. Refuses to get screened, gets back in front. And not any good option is left at that point for Dayton late in the shot clock. But that was the end of the clock. Listen, that first 20 seconds, Jennings was staying attached hip to hip against Bennett. That's why Bennett might be your best player. I just don't see how he's going to be open with Jennings on the court. That's why I'd like to see, I think Latong could be pretty open on a pick and pop.
That's 16 fouls now for the Flyers, and it looks like they're going to try to play this thing out here, and that could bring it all the way down to inside of 20 seconds. Do you agree with this strategy?
I'd foul or trap. What I'd like to do is trap now, try to speed it up, cause a turnover.
Kind of too late for a foul now, though. The shot clock's down to 5. Here's Barry Evans for 3. It could help the cause. No. And Djokovic tips it. It's out of bounds off of VCU and Jennings. So Dayton has it. But with 20.3 seconds, they are down by 4.
Look at it. Got 8 people fighting their guts out. That's what college basketball is all about right there.
Remember, you can only challenge this. Referees cannot look at any out-of-bounds plays at all this season. It has to be challenged. Nobody is challenging it.
And VCU has fouls to give here, too.
Yeah, they do. They've had 5 team fouls. And it's blocked inside by Djokovic. And it's going into the hands of Jennings. And he is fouled with 13.8 seconds to go. And the fans behind the VCU bench feeling it here tonight.
Jennings has 4 fouls, so he doesn't want to foul in this situation. But Djokovic, the 6'11" big man with the rim protection. I mean, there's so many terrific defensive plays that VCU has made down the stretch here by Djokovic and Jennings, and they've locked down the second half.
Rams trying to spoil senior night here in Dayton, but they missed a free throw, and Bennett's got it. Jamon Bennett races into the front court. He's fouled. On the floor. That is the 16th foul by VCU. So they're going to have to inbound the ball here with just 10 seconds to go.
Super smart play both ways. It's VCU using their foul and also Dayton with Bennett trying to get the continuation rule. Boy, that's close.
Yep.
That's really close.
He was trying to put it up and get the officials to say it was an active shooting.
It's not reviewable, though, so that's going to stand.
All right, John, you're coming out of the timeout now. You're down 4. You've got 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, I'm going for the 2. You need 2 possessions. And there's the first team out for VCU. This could, again, at least going into the tournament, I would expect this gets them on the right side of the bubble. But right now, a two-possession game for Dayton. I'm going to the basket. If help comes, I'm kicking it out. But again, a pick and pop with Latong, who's a very capable three-point shooter. I do think, again, it's not just who do you want to shoot, but who could be most open. The player I would think could be most open right now for Dayton would be Latong.
Dayton has missed 6 of the last 7 shots. Down by 4. 10 seconds to go. They're out of timeouts. Durkak has got to get it in. Fires it over to Montgomery. Puts up a 3. No good. Rebound. Bell dumps it to Djokovic, and he's fouled by Latong with 4.5 seconds to go. Latong has fouled out, and the Rams have come into Dayton, Ohio, where they have won 7 games in their history. They're 7-6. And likely will go to 8-6 and come up with a monstrous quad 1 win here on the road and help their cause for their tournament resume.
To basketball people like are on that NCAA committee, this is obviously a very valuable win. I mean, not many people come into Dayton Arena, play a healthy Dayton team on a 6-game winning streak on senior day, where Dayton's 14-0 in their last 14 senior days. This is a tremendous win and feather in the cap for VCU.
Big time, as Djokovic has made it 68-62. 4.5 seconds to go. Not gonna matter. It's over, and the Rams come into Dayton, Ohio, and knock off the Flyers 68-62. They've won 13 of their last 14 as they improved to 24-7 on the season.
I mentioned VCU has to get better defensively. Well, in that second half, they were a lot better defensively. Really enhanced their NCAA tournament selection possibilities with this great road win.